So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube? Darry here from Z4 Games, bringing you, as you can see before you, an updated Lair of Darkness deck profile. Now, of course, with Lair of Darkness, it does have a massive advantage against meta with the fact that it now has Eradicator, which deals with all of the back row, whether they're trap heavy or spell heavy. And then on top of that, it does have an incredibly powerful field spell that can deal with any monster, purely because you can then tribute your opponent's monsters to activate your effects. So that gets past any type of immunity, apart from the fact that if they're immune by spell cards. Now, of course, there are downsides to the Lair of Darkness deck. Number one, it is kind of more aimed towards traps, so it does mean it ideally wants to go first. Secondly, it does rely heavily on the field spell, so if you take out the field spell and they have no other way of getting to the field spell, it can be very, very disastrous for the Lair of Darkness player. However, they have got a nice new introduction with Beat Cop from the Underworld, and I'll take you through the profile and explain why so. Without further ado, I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to take you through the monster lineup already. So, we start off with Triple Lilith, Lady of the Lament. This is, of course, the most important Lair of Darkness monster, alongside, of course, your Darkest Diablos as well. You've then got Triple Harima. Now, Harima, obviously, of course, is another way to get into your field spell because it is so important to get so. And then he is another nice normal summon that once you've got the field spell in play, you can start tributing off your opponent's monsters for draws, or, of course, you can stack one card to the top of your deck as well. Then, of course, you've got double Darkest Diablos. Your boss monster of the deck, very, very powerful, can't be tributed himself, and then you tribute one dark monster, and then place one card from your from your opponent's hand to the top or bottom of the deck, so you can restack them, or of course put it to the bottom, which can be very, very useful. Is of course your boss monster as well. Then for a bit of spicy tech, we've got double Blackstone Legend, and then one Red Eyes Archery. Now the way that this works is, if you have a way to get to your Eradicator, you then can use normal summon the Blackstone, tribute off the Blackstone, bring out your Red Eyes Archery of Lightning, and straight away he has the correct attributes to be tributed for your Eradicator. We've then got the one Sangan, and I'm tempted to bump this up. Now that we've got Beat Cop from the Underworld, it makes Tour Guide even more important. So we do want to consistently get to Tour Guide, because what you do is you use Tour Guide's effect, bring one out from deck into Lilith, and go into Beat Cop. But I have messed around with the deck to make sure that getting into Beat Cop is a lot more consistent. Ideally, though, the fact with Beat Cop is it's better going second, because its main effect doesn't really kick in. You kind of want to be kicking it in as soon as it's summoned, to move it on from there. Next up, to finish off the monster lineup, we do have double Artifact Scythe and one Moral Attack, purely because it is very, very important in this meta right now. We don't play any hand traps in the deck. You can, of course, side them in. Ideally, you want to go first, which means you don't want your hand traps. You want to be able to set up your back row and then pass your opponent and cause them all types of issues with Eradicator, and any other back row you wish to choose. But of course you can put that in here as well. Another good one is Prankatops, because if you're going second, Prankatops is a nice free summon that can disrupt your opponent. And then on top of that, it does meet the requirements for Eradicator, which is your most powerful trap card. Onto the spells, we've got triple Pot of Extravagance, purely because you do not rely on your extra deck that heavily. Of course, triple Lair of Darkness and double Terraforming, because again, like I said, it is that important to get into it. We've then got triple Instant Fusion. Now, the Instant Fusion is very, very useful in this deck, purely if you've opened up one monster, it does get you into a Beat Cop, but a quick sneak preview is you've got Millennium Eyes and Thousand Eyes. So these are ways around hand traps, and of course, any kind of issue monster your opponent has on their opening board. What you've got to remember about the Lair of Darkness deck is, apart from Arima and Terraforming, the main kind of cards that you play, like Lilith and Trap Trick, all set directly from decks, so they're unaffected by Ash. There's nothing that's really Ghost Ogreable, in the sense, because most of your cards tribute as cost anyway, so if you do want to Ghost Ogre something, you just go, okay, and then you're able to revive it back anyway. So you don't worry heavily about hand traps, as long as you can get to your Lair as easy as possible. It is another nice way around it. The one for one, of course, you can get a Diablos into Grave to bring out your Blackstone Legend and move your plays further forward that way. One Monster Reborn, one Super Poly can really, really break boards, because we do play Starving Venom in the extra deck, and you're going to turn everything into darks anyway, so Super Poly can be very, very useful. There are, of course, other cards in the deck. If you don't have Extravagance, you can play Dualities. You can play Allure of Darknesses as well. There is a lot of variety with the deck that you kind of mix and match to make it your personal preference. Onto the traps, triple Artifact Sanctum, incredibly powerful stun card in today's meta. Double Back to the Front, double Torrential Tribute, which can really catch your opponent off guard. Triple Trap Trick, of course, straightforward and simple on that one. And double Eradicator. Now, you can easily play 3 Eradicators, but once you've resolved 1 Eradicator, you should be able to finish your opponent off within those time limits. There are a couple of cards that I haven't put into the deck because I've tried to keep it down. It is like a 42 card deck at this current moment in time. But a couple of other nice little tech cards that you can play around with. One that I really like is Waken the Dragon. Purely because what you do is you play Lilith, reveal Waken the Dragon as one of those 3, and then it kind of puts a bit of fear in your opponent as to they don't want to pop the back row you've just set with Lilith, because it could be a Waken the Dragon, and then if you do play Waken the Dragon, it gives you a bit more protection for having your back row nuked as well. Onto the actual deck, of course, we've got double Beat Cop from the Underworld. This and your Instant Fusion targets are probably your main cards in the deck that you want to be keeping safe. So we've got double Millennium Eyes and double Thousand Eyes. They're the ones you don't want to be losing all the copies off of your Extravagance, but after that you're completely fine to mill out whatever you want. Now Beat Cop, the reason it's so good is if it's linked someone using 2 Dark Monsters, which 9 times out of 10 with Lair of Darkness it will be, it gains the following effect. So you get to tribute 1 monster, then target 1 face-up card on the field, place 1 patrol counter on it, so you can put it on itself. You can only use the effect of Beat Cop from the Underworld once per turn. If a card or cards with if a card with a patrol counter on it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you remove 1 patrol counter from instead. So you can protect your Beat Cop, and then your Beat Cop just constantly goes tribute, put a counter on it, tribute, put a counter on it, tribute, put a counter on it each turn. So it allows you to protect as many of your cards as possible if your opponent can't deal with this and get rid of this. And then you're just tributing off your opponent's cards anyway during their turn, so you can actually break very cool boards with Beat Cop. Then for the other Link monsters, quite straightforward and simple. You've got your Link Crew to go off of your Thousand Eyes, Millennium Eyes if you want. You've got the 1 Unicorn, the 1 Phoenix, the 1 Cerberus, and the 1 Wee Witch. Then, of course, you've got your power plays of Borrow Sword and Borrow Load. If you don't have these, do not worry. You should have a Borrow Load by now, but if not, any Link 4 or 3, Decode, anything like that will do just as fine. Like I said, you do not rely on your extra deck heavily. 1 Artifact Durandal. I'm still waiting for the day that I can actually do it more consistently in this, but that I overlay 2 artifacts to go into Durandal, set Waken the Dragon, and then my opponent activates effect. I use Durandal to pop that Waken the Dragon, and then you can bring out another target. That, of course, if you want to go heavier on that, you up the artifact engine, make sure that they're more consistent, and then of course you put more Waken the Dragon targets in as well. And the 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, just because of your Super Poly. So that is it for the Lair of Darkness. Quite straightforward, quite simple, and can relatively be done on a budget if you want to build it that way. Like I said, to take out the expensive card like Extravagance and take out the expensive cards like Borrow Sword, you can easily replace them with Allures, Dualities, Ashes, now that we've got like the 10th print of that. You can also put in impermanences as well as another normal trap. If you want to go full back row, like I love playing the odd Mirror Force, because people just do not expect Mirror Force sometimes. You drop a Mirror Force on your opponent, they're like, what? Huh? They still play you? And like a Storm and Mirror Force or a normal Mirror Force can be very damaging to your opponent, which is great. But that is it for the deck profile. Like I said, straightforward to the point. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I hope it gave you an idea of different ways of approaching your build. Or of course, if you do have any little techs that you trial out, please put them in the comments down below. It'd be lovely to hear from you guys to kind of figure out other different ways that you've taken the Lair of Darkness. Now I know Chris likes to play a God version. So in his Lair of Darkness deck, he plays I can't remember. It's a Flute Summoner. So it's the one that you set face down. It flips, and its flip effect is you special summon 1 monster from your hand. So he likes to special summon out Obelisk, and then he can use it to tribute off as a fodder for his Eradicator. It's just a nice little fun tech to play around with. So there are different ways you can play this deck however you wish. But I still think it has a very good anti-meta matchup and can cause a lot of issues. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling. What's up, YouTube? Down here with YUGIOH. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always guys, happy dueling.